in
Yes.
the news.
Okay.
Rudy Giuliani is in his defamation case with Ruby Freeman and Shaye Moss, and he was going on today. It's like, this will be the end of me, the civil case. And what I always like to do is remind people of the incredible harm and damage that he caused these people. Their lives were destroyed. They were getting constant threats. They had to move out of their house. And we now see that the media is focusing, well, what did we, poor Rudy. I mean, they're not focusing on it, but he's trying to claim that he will be the victim.
Yeah. Oh, such a victim. Poor guy lied his ass off. And you know what? He's allegedly broke. Well, that's what happens what was his rent? Like $75,000 a month or something insane like that. It's all monopoly money to me at that level. But, and he was charging Trump allegedly, $20,000 an hour or something, that kind of money it just is not real. And so people who live in that neighborhood, get what they deserve, I guess.
Yeah, well, I do hope that one of the things that done, and this is one of the things we learned, and I actually advised the lawyers for St. Luke's in the case against Ammon Bundy, is when you've got a case that you're going to win, prepare for the people who are the defendants to just try and hide their assets.
Always.
And there's a lot of things you can do.
Let's go back to Alex Jones, who was found liable to pay these Sandy Hook families close to $1 billion. I mean, it was a massive award. He hasn't given them one red cent. And from what we understand, he's still spending like that proverbial drunken sailor.
Right.
He hasn't curbed his spending habits at all, but he's thumbing his nose at the court who said you need to pay these people money for what you did to them. And he's just not. So I don't know what the answer is.
Well, actually, I'm gonna follow up with the lawyers on that case, because there was a discussion about having some sort of settlement deal, which was like, give us $86 million over this short period of time instead of that. And the way that it works is, if you have a settlement, of course, it is going to be trying to collect it is a different situation. But the court actually has a number of tools that they can use, like putting a lien on their property and those kind of things. It is a question of, when you have that much money, what can you do in order to get it? And they have, good lawyers. The question is, I still want to know what happens when he starts again with new slander, et cetera. And in that call, which again, the call with Elon Musk and Alex Jones was insane, where Musk just was saying, well, people have to follow the law and blah, 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 which he really doesn't do on that platform. It's a very different situation. And I think that Alex Jones is going to try not to break the law, but he's going to offend again. He's going to use his words to commit another crime, and that will lead to another lawsuit. Whether or not it kicks him off of X is not necessarily going to happen, but he needs to have something where it ends into, contempt, where he is not allowed to keep saying these things, or he has to be forced to pay.
Well, but what is the mechanism? I mean, we don't have debtors' prisons, although we do for poor people. When you look at it, people who don't have money to get a great attorney, there are debtors' prisons for those people. They do wind up in jail. It's if you have all the money in the world and you decide you're not going to pay, they somehow avoid incarceration or being held accountable. It sucks. So there's another story today, Spocko, that I did want to talk about that's just... It's inconceivable. And it makes you go, what year is this? And the year is actually 2023, not 1923, although you might think it was 1923 if you lived in Texas or Florida or any of these states that have these horrific abortion laws. And make no mistake, it's not about abortion. It's about women's health care. And in this case, this woman, her name is Kate Cox. Speaking of Cox, I'm guessing she's not part of the Cox internet fortune family, or she could find a way around this. And as it is, so Kate Cox is the mother of two, has two kids, wants more, desperately wants this baby. that she's pregnant with, but she was told that she's got the baby, the fetus has this rare genetic condition and will not survive. If it's born alive, it will not live. It will suffer. And in a normal world, this woman would have no problem getting an abortion. But the state of Texas says no. Once a heartbeat is heard, you can't do that. Even though it's not a heartbeat, it's like an electrical pulse or something. There was no heart formed at that point. There was a ruling. A judge said she sued to be able to get an abortion because she still wants kids. And if she's forced to carry this fetus to term, not only will the fetus die, but she will likely be rendered unable to carry another pregnancy. And so a court ruled that she could have the abortion until that felon, the Texas Attorney General, Ken Paxton, asked the Texas Supreme Court to step in and block the order, which they did. They said, nope, you can't get health care, even though her fetus has a fatal condition and continuing the pregnancy threatens her future fertility. So the reason she hadn't fled the state before was because the law in Texas is so obscene that if you helped Kate Cox go to another state to get the medical care she needs, you can be prosecuted. And but she wound up, I guess she left today to go somewhere. We don't know where, but she left. The Center for Reproductive Rights is working with her. Here's what they shitted out. They said Kate desperately wanted to be able to get care where she lives and recover at home surrounded by family. While Kate had the ability to leave the state, most people do not. And a situation like this could be a death sentence. And then they also said, this is the result of the Supreme Court's reversal of Roe v. Wade. Women are forced to beg for urgent health care in court. Kate's case has shown the world that abortion bans are dangerous for pregnant people and exceptions don't work. So I guess we wait for the other shoe to drop, which is, will her husband be prosecuted for driving her to the airport or aiding her in leaving the state to get the health care she needs?
Wow. I'm just, this is the kind of craziness that happens, and people need to hear these stories. I think remember Liz Weinstein had her abortion, her Action Network, and talked about, she says, these are the kind of stories that people need to hear because it is so clear that the people around can see that this is crazy. This can't be happening. And they
Liz Winstead, you mean, right? Not Liz Winstead?
Winstead. Yeah, Winstead. I'm sorry.
Gotcha. Okay.
She kept talking about it was a wanted pregnancy, etc. As those are the kinds of things that people say when they're trying to get, the best case scenario, etc. That's not the ones that are brought up by the right. They'll bring up she just, wants to get, she wants to use abortion as birth control. What I'm always amazed about is that when you actually would bring some of those people like, Ken Paxton, and they talk about she met the various different criteria, et cetera, and then they still say, yeah, we're going to have to let it happen. Those are the kinds of people that are fine with this. I'm amazed that they'll still say that it's okay.
This shit has got to stop, and so this is still going on while all these so-called progressives are saying, I won't vote for Joe Biden again because I don't like what he's doing. Good. So you'd rather have Donald Trump because, frankly, that's going to be the choice unless something drastic happens. And let's face it, something drastic could happen. Too many drastic things could happen between now and November. But as of right now, it looks like it's going to be a rematch between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. If
they all want the cheeseburger to choke out Trump.
Home, well, that would be a wonderful thing. But if you stay home because it's some kind of protest vote against Joe Biden, you think what you're protesting is going to be any better under Trump? Whether it's abortion rights, whether it's Muslim rights, whether it's the survival of Palestinians in Gaza. You think Trump is going to be better than Biden? Come on. And then I read something today, some group, and it went in one ear and out the other. And I said, they said something to the effect of, well, it'll get worse for a little while, but people will learn. Bullshit. It got worse. We had 4 years of Trump. People didn't learn. For some reason, the brain dead among us are still thinking they're going to vote for him.
I'm often curious about how it is that people will bring this up. And someone talked about how the media really love the horse race, and they want to keep talking about, well, next time these things will be worse. And I think Marcy keeps talking about, but these are all the terrible things that he did at the time that were horrible.
Horrible. And remember the march on, was it January 22nd? It was the day after inauguration. And the millions of people worldwide who came out, and the pussy hats and all that, how quickly we forget. There are bigger issues than your problem with Joe Biden. I'm sorry he's old. Norman Lear lived to 101, and guess what? He was brilliant probably up to his last year. Enough with the age thing. And Donald Trump is no younger than Joe Biden. 3 years when you're an octogenarian is imperceivable.
So, I'm an octogenarian. What is that, a superhero name? What is that?
Come on, man. So yeah, I hear these arguments, and then I have a friend, an old friend. I keep up with some old friends on Facebook. It's the reason I'm still on Facebook. And I see her say, and she's not a political person. I know her from the music world. And she's like, oh, because Joe Biden refuses to step aside, we're going to be stuck with Donald Trump again. It's like, what are you doing? Why are you parroting right-wing talking points? Joe Biden should not step aside. He's actually done a really good job, and start listing some of the things that he's done. Why would you say such a thing? It's like groupthink, and it's working against us. Stop it.
Good news is boring. And they talk about before, is like, that is one of the geniuses of Trump and Bannon and those people. One is flooding the zone with crap that we have to deal with. I was just thinking about how I was going through that entire call with Elon and Alex and thinking, well, I could debate this, I could point out this is a lie, etc. And I think it just exhausted me. And so that's why I wanted to focus on, think about all the people that the words that they spoke that harmed people. And I can go through and say exactly what he said. It's again and again, but they then repeat the lies over and over to a public who are, eager to take it in and don't really want to hear the lies. They don't really want to hear the truth because it takes too long and it's boring.
Yeah, and you know what though? Fox is now starting to speak the truth. I mean, there's a I've seen a few. I don't watch Fox, but I've seen clips where people have said that anchors on Fox, they're I can't call them news people, but they're on-air personalities, have said they've corrected Trump's bullshit by saying, oh, the election was not stolen. He lost, which is something they never said a few years ago.
Well, I think there's a part of this, again, the new management at Fox is trying to, keep it open so they can have, something happen. They're preparing for the, cheeseburger end of Trump, where they put in somebody else. But one of the things that they also had to deal with, they dealt with this multiple $1 million settlement with Dominion, and the new Smartmatic
case is just coming up, and that's a bigger case than the Dominion one.
And that's the one way in some cases that you can't deal with these companies, is to make it so it is going to cost them financially,
right,
if they are lying. And what we see with Elmo was he decided that he didn't need any money financially, and so he could just tell the advertisers to, go F yourself.
Yeah.
And he is able to do that. And so now he's just trying to get people to pay for subscriptions or to build up his numbers.
Yep.
And the numbers is what he's going to say. Oh, we've got all these people, 10 million people listen to Tucker Carlson on the stream, et cetera, et cetera. Well, if he doesn't care about the money and he just wants to push a message and he's got the money to do it, then he can do it. And as Cory Doctorow says, there needs to be a way to discipline a company or a person that is causing harm. And I believe that this is causing harm when he sends out this kind of horrific information.
Well, this is the new normal. This is where we are today. But here, I'm going to go out with this, Spocko. So, Arthel Neville, who is related to the Neville brothers. What the hell she's doing on Fox, I don't know, but I guess she's a weekend person on Fox. She actually, I think it was last week, cut off Trump at a rally. They were carrying it live, and she listened to this. She cut him off and did this. Here.
Bigger, better, and it works. Fine way. And then, no.
Well, the former president finally got around to some campaign promises amid lots of cheering, as you heard. Many untruths. The 2020 election was not rigged. It was not stolen.
Oh, many untruths. The 2020 election was not rigged. It was not stolen. Those words were on Fox.
Yeah, and she'll be fired in 5, 4, 3, 2.
Well, she's a Neville, so she's been there forever. I don't know when she's on, but I don't watch Fox, so I don't know. Anyway, yeah, the Neville brothers are really good. I don't know why she's on Fox. Well, job, money, I get it. Anyway, Spocko, thank you for calling in. Spocko saved the day. My guest was a no-show. I guess he's living high off the big bucks he's getting for his book. Thank you, Spocko. Tomorrow, Laffy will be here. So
Yay!
We got that going for us. All right. Thank you for hanging with me. This was fun. Better than the interview would have been, I'm guessing. Oh, and he's gone. All right. That's it. I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for listening, everyone. So much from